whole campaign, it shook the world. It did not shake the African continent. It shook the world because now even the government didn't understand who's behind this. Because you see EFF, you see ANC, you see all political parties making one call. So it is difficult to fight people who are united. But when we fight there and somebody is fighting there and in our own battles, then it's easy to rule and divide, because that's what the government does. It's for them to rule us and divide us. Hence, I think we were speaking with Comrade Ayanda about convening a social movement gathering, where we are going to speak about the way forward. And even platforms like this, where we take such conversations forward, that they don't remain around these tables. Because Comrade, the struggle is not in the round table. The struggle is here outside. When we die, we don't. It is not discussed. It's discussed at the city hall in Parliament. So that's why we must fight our struggle outside more than we fight in our round table. So it's very, very, very important that we do not. But once again, we have to first look at, before we can talk about unity, because among the social movement themselves, there are people who are sent by the ruling party to act as part of us, but they are here to destroy us. They are sent to destroy us. Some of the people, I make an example when people ask me about my struggle. Why did you join the struggle? My struggle was personal. I've seen my mother living in a shack, dying in a shack. I've seen my father in a shack, dying in a shack. So I'm saying that I don't want to live that anymore. I don't want to be like my father. I don't want to be like my mother. But what I want is, even though if I die in the struggle, then my children will have a better story to tell and say, but our father, at least he fought a good fight, the fight to get us out of this situation that we are living in. So it's very important that we know first, before we meet, before we unite, who are the enemies among ourselves within the social movement. Because we have the NGOs who are funding social movements separately. We don't know whether these NGOs want to destroy the struggle, or they actually funding the struggles for the betterment of the people, or they have other agendas. One of the comrades said, well, some of them want to be, constantly in relationship with the government, so they are sent to actually divide us, and money does tend to do that to people. But comrade, I want to say this, that our country, South Africa, has been stolen. That we must know. That it is not in the rightful hands. And I think if Steve Biko, Chris Zani would wake up today, they would not like to see what is happening in our country. So we have a country that is stolen. And when you speak up, you are either faced with torture, repression, or even killed. In our movement on the 3rd, on Tuesday, a trial is going to start where our chairperson was shot 7 times by a male councillor. This guy is roaming outside and he's still threatening people. He's got connection with the judges in the magistrate court and finds out. We don't know what's going to be the outcome of that case, but he's going around bragging and saying that on the 3rd I'm coming back and I'm going to continue where I left off. So you have these politicians who want people to vote for them, but they are arrogant. We had a meeting with at one stage with the head of department housing in the Ethekwini municipality, and he made it very clear. He said to me, he said, "Oh, maybe you were man enough where you were born. Maybe you could just go outside and show one another." That was a formal meeting. That was a formal meeting at a city hall. Somebody challenging me in that way. So, can you see how the life of an activist is under threat? Can you see how the life of So it's very, recently we've had a meeting with Amnesty International, and we were talking about trauma counseling and so on. It's very hateful conflict when you have your wife and kids and there are the police. It just starts the day and beating you up in front of your kids. And imagine how when you come back to your wife, how is he going to react to you as a man that is supposed to protect his household? And there, there's a group of men come and beat you up. It's very traumatic. It's very. We've got comrades who are living with bullets. We've got young kids who have been shot. We've got a police officer who is in court. But we know very well that when we were in the strike, when that young child was killed, that opposite of it was the head of the police that pulled the trigger. But this the police is standing in for this. When we raise that, the courts, how do you then go to accept the outcome of those particular cases? So, I mean, it's very frustrating that the power the government is using against us is in fact minimizing us into a lower standard, that we feel that we can no longer trust not only the politicians, not only the leadership of this country, but even the judiciary itself. So, you know, but I'm saying to respond to what you have said, Professor, that people would, when you respond with violence, then people tend to respond with violence. I don't agree with the fact that somebody said that they will win this country with the barrel of the gun. But what I'm saying is, really, in any instance, sometimes when you are beaten up by a batting stick and everything, sometimes you feel like turning back and doing something. But at the very same time, that's when you are faced with bullets. Because some of the comrades who were shot were harmless, had nothing in their hands. But you had this man coming with live ammunition, shooting at the man, just, you know, playing. So I don't know what's going to. Sometimes it frustrates us, sometimes it makes us angry. Sometimes we may even say things that, well, some people call it treason or so. But I'm saying that we need to realize the social movement, that it's very urgent that we combine and we meet and we unite, because we need to return this country from those who have stolen it from us.
Thank you very much. Who wants to carry on? Ananda, you want to?
All right, just a few minutes. Well, I think it's also important to say the struggles that have been taking place in this country are not only confined and immune into different places. It's important to acknowledge the fact that we are building on the struggles that have been fought before. So there is absolutely nothing unique about our struggle. There is absolutely nothing peculiar about our struggles, but we are building on the struggles that have been fought, the brave struggles that have been fought before. I think it's important to acknowledge that point. Whether it's a rape crisis and protest at Rhodes University, whether it's a protest against war and xenophobia in GRAHAMSTOWN, whether it's a protest against evictions in Durban or in Platteland. And it therefore means we can most definitely always learn to the struggles that have been before, that have been made. And there are tools of analysis that have been there for us to use those tools of analysis, even if we don't agree. That's number one. Number two, let me talk a little bit about Rhodes University. I was in Cape Town in January. I received a call from Baba Raminyat, who is a student at Rhodes University, who has been participating in the struggles of Fees Must Fall, or Black Students Movement, to tell me that there have been police here who came to say congratulations at Rhodes University. We become very happy when there are kids locally who go to Rhodes University and she's excited, yes. And then they tell her that you've got kids. Yes, you think we can support you and give you a stipend? She gets excited. Then the police tell Bobolatu, for us to be able to do so, you need to participate in your roads must fall as you have been participating during xenophobia lootings in UPL. You need to give us the images, you need to send us minutes, you need to keep pictures. And she says, I'll come back to you, I don't know. She calls me, then I explain that they want you to be informed. You must say no. They come back the next day, she's saying no. They say no, but you will not be identified, we will give you a number. Even in our records, your name will not be there, we will only have your number. This is this year. She's saying no. They say, you just tell us how much you need because we are under immense pressure from the top politicians to really crack down on this business war. She blatantly refused. Surely the police did not only approach Bobola Munyati, they must have approached a number of guys who are operating locally. That's number one. But again, as the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Suzuma Izela, was talking to Nell, to say, Nell, during the protest and the shootings here, Nell, please release the students. Nell says, no. We must crack down this business for. But I said, no, Nell, this is not business for. This is a rape protest, right? But you could see that everything to them is about business for. Everything to them is about we have been given specific instructions to crack down on these things. That's number one. What happened in XOLOBENI and what happened in a number of places around the country as well. The crackdown on protests, the crackdown on activists. Late last year, as we were participating in the xenophobic attacks, before the xenophobic attacks, we warned the police that there's a potential of xenophobic lootings and attacks here because of the rate of crime, and people are saying, people are responsible at this foreign nationals. You ought to do something. They said everything is under control. Then on that day, in October, then there's a xenophobic attacks. Now, instead of the police and municipality taking responsibility, they convene a meeting. It's called a stakeholders meeting. The NGOs sit there, all the departments sit there, and the police. Myself, Fundile, and comrades of UPM, we go into the meeting because we are also stakeholders. Then the brigadier, the station commissioner, tells us we are not allowed to these meetings. We have a right to meet. No. You will not sit in my meeting. Get out of my meeting. We then leave under protest. And then we get informed that in a meeting, it was said the people who are responsible for xenophobic attacks, it's unemployed youth movement and Masafundi. We get it from someone who works at the municipality who was part of the meeting. And then there is a police who is assigned to some of us to really investigate us. And the police makes a mistake. He goes into a tavern. He tells one of the people that I undergot that his UPM are responsible. And people are so angry that there is no way. They come and tell me that this fellow, this is what he's saying about you. I said, no, leave him. Then I narrated the story that this is what happened. This is what it has come about. But to be very brief, the question is, how do you work in such a hostile environment? How do you carry out this political task in such a hostile environment? Where there's repression, where there's patronage, as you have mentioned. Like yesterday, was it on Monday, Chris? There are comrades who come to the office, about 80 comrades. These comrades are saying, no, we heard that there's a company called Mamlango who will be hiring out people. So we go there. There are about 100 of us at Tangi Hall. So they do the interviews. We write aptitude tests. 60 of us are then recruited. Then they take the measurements for our overall, and they said on Monday on that day, you must go to City Hall for induction. Then they go to City Hall. City Hall, they are called in by Councillor Masoma, by Councillor Martini. They are told, no, it is not the prerogative of Momnamu to recruit. It is the prerogative of the councillor. We must supply them with workers. Because this is the government, it is government who puts money for these roads to be constructed. And we said there is no way. And they tell us, as we were challenging this, Councillor Masoma stand up and say, ANC and ANC members will eat first, everyone else must fight for the tribal. We immediately approached Sarah to say, Sarah, Legal Resource Center, legal expectations have been created here. So they can challenge this in terms of the law because of legal legitimate expectations. They can challenge that in terms of the law. And then Sarah immediately writes this Sarah from Mamlam. Sarah said, I'm being bullied by the Makana municipality. That's what they've been doing for us over the years. And say, I'll be approaching the Sandra on Friday. I think we're going to employ them. We will go ahead. Though they've been doing us. If you go to Extension 10, it is the very same thing. There are houses. People, we've got the list. People that have been allocated, that have been approved in housing list, whose names are there, meaning they must occupy Extension 10 houses. We've got the list. But if you look at that list, 90% of the people who are the legitimate owners of the Extension RGP houses are not there. It's used as a form of patronage again to say who will put our caterers, and our caterers will have to campaign for us. I mean, these things, they all go together. But again, the question is how? One of the things when we realize that we are under pressure, our meetings are disrupted in the township, and these people have audacity and just to swear at us, even when they see us in public places. They work very close with the police. We organize a protest with SAMU. And the SAMU leadership is very bitter to say they cannot work with us. Then we talk with SAMU, we have a joint protest. And it was on TV, it was on YouTube, with the idea that we have to break the backbone and neutralize them and win over the workers. And that becomes a very successful event, that we are able to neutralize this hostility, because this is the working class struggles. We are all poor, we are all from the same class. We do the same thing with the SACP to say, but comrades, we need to meet. But in particular, they are communist league. But comrades, we need to have discussions, etc. And some of them do attend the political classes that we have, because we have to be seen creating this unity of the poor, this unity of the working class. It happened at Rhodes University recently, when the leadership of the NIHA were still really deciding on what to do. On that day, on the morning, when the police were shooting the students, the membership said we're joining the students. The leadership can take time and meet and discuss whatever they want to discuss. We as workers in this institution, they'll find us in protest supporting the students. And indeed, that's what they did, to work against the bureaucracy of the workers. To make sure, I mean, as also you talk to them, as some of them are talking that we think it is high time that we must remove those bureaucrats from the office and put really and proper people who are going to support the struggles in this location. So I'm saying, as part of the strategy and struggle, how do you really swim against the tide to make sure that you do not drown? And one of the things, as we were discussing, what it means to be a community organization, what is a community? And one of the things that becomes very clear, one of our comrades, Lizwe Mocholo, who stays in Bukani, you cannot touch Lizwe, because Lizwe works in the community, works with the community, and the community has taken the responsibility to look after Lizwe. That if you touch Lizwe, you will have to touch the whole community. Because Lizwe is part of us. Lizwe works with us. Lizwe struggles with us. The very same thing could be said about the chairperson of UPM, Mamumbepo, who resides in Popamani, to say when there are meetings, if Mamumbepo is not there, there's no meeting. The community will insist that we need Mamumbepo to be part of this meeting. We need Mamumbepo to lead from the front. The very same thing could be said, even when some of us go to Mandisa in the evening, we do so. I mean, it's a tavern. But we are not afraid, because there are comrades there who are looking at our backs, who are looking at us. Even in that community, I don't lock my door. The moment you go in there, the community members don't know you. They call you and say, what do you want? He's not there. He's gone to work. Even when they see a policeman, they go to that policeman and say, he's not here. Do you want to arrest him? But the point is, how do we really say we are a community organization? How do we struggle with that concept and say, therefore, the community becomes our fortress? It is the community that will defend us. It is the community that will make it a point that this is all our struggles. We're not isolated for the community. We don't speak for. Indeed, we speak with the community. We speak with one voice. I think those are some of the things that really becomes important. I agree with Comrade Capello. We need to push with the unity of the social movements. But within the unity of that social movement, we need to take into cognizance the political developments in the country, in particular with the new federation that will be formed, on the 1st May, what is happening with NAVTU, the contradictions that are taking place within the union and COSATU itself, and say, where do we locate ourselves within the broader struggles that are taking place in the community? Which I think it's important if we really say, because I mean, the students, it's okay for students to protest. You can protest for social movements, to protest. We can protest, but the moment the workers say you are leaving the factories, it brings the economy, it shakes the foundations of the very imperialism. How do you make sure all of us, we are able to reconnect these struggles? How do you make sure all of us, we come together and there's unity in the true sense of the word? As you are saying, we don't each stay in our different corners. We are part of these broader struggles. We talk to each other, and we push this unity. I don't know what does that mean, say. But for quite some time, I've been saying, I've been very hostile to COSATU and its affiliates. And I've only learned recently that actually, there have always been contradictions taking place there. Many of us made a mistake not acknowledging those contradictions that have been taking place within COSATU for quite some time. If we could have been able to acknowledge those sharpening contradictions in COSATU, we could have made many gains in this struggles. And I think it is important to be part of those contradictions, to identify proper comrades there, not to say how belongs to the ruling party. There are progressive comrades within how that we can work with us. Some of the comrades who go to Mandisa's Tavern, they will tell you, when you go there, many young Communist League members, they'll come, we all sit together there. They tell you what is happening within the ANC. They tell you how unhappy they are with Zuma, etc. And then there are conversations, even when they are asked. They are the first, I mean, the Tebo told me that after election debate in ANC offices, then they said, there's this problem of UPM. We have to kill that Ayana Kota. Ayana Kota was not there. Tebo told me. Tebo said, no, we are not going to kill UPM. We are not going to kill Ayana Kota. It was Tebo and other members of the ANC who are prepared to walk out of the ANC if the ANC insists on repressing us. These are members of the community. These are our comrades that we stay together in the community. These are the comrades that we work with. These are comrades that we have. Because some of them, and it's because, Prof, the patronage, as we are saying, that I'm waiting for my turn. I've been promised 1, 2, 3. So how do I carry out some of the instructions? For sure, I mean, we don't have answers to that. But I mean, as Obram Mkhwape said, Obram Mkhwape always makes this point. During our days as SASO, we were protected by the community. We immersed ourselves in the community. And I think during this time of repression, yes, the police will be brutal. They don't care. They will continue to do that. But how do you make sure that we are not even isolated from the community that we're going to represent?
Okay.